lot more characters were at Helm's Deep in the movie than in the book. I mentioned earlier Jackson moved the innocent citizens of Rohan there, and we talked last year about the elves coming for reinforcements. But there is one elf who isn't there in the final cut of the film, who was there in earlier development. And if you have followed any of the behind-the-scenes info of these movies, you know where I'm going with this. Arwen at Helm's Deep. This is probably the most notorious change that almost happened, and it's certainly the one that fascinates me most because I'm really curious how it would have shaped the rest of the movie. The movie already plays up the Aragorn, Arwen, Éowyn love triangle way more than the book does, but in the final cut, so much of the way it's played is based on the fact that Éowyn is here and Arwen is not.
We had a romance where the two characters, Aragorn and Arwen, weren't in the two towers. They weren't in the same space. You know, they were in two completely different places in Middle-earth.
How would that entire thread have changed if Arwen was there? How would it have changed Arwen's subplot about going to the Grey Havens? I have no idea. I've never been able to find a shooting script of this version of the movie. I don't even know if there was one. It's possible that they never finished a complete draft because they wrote Arwen out of Helm's Deep when they realized they couldn't make the rest of the story work.
And as we're shooting Helm's Deep, a decision was made, look, you know what? Actually, this isn't working. We need to change this.
I mean, I know there's the rumor that the reason they changed this is because when it leaked that this was happening, the backlash was so loud they couldn't ignore it, but I don't know.
And certainly we got a lot of fan reaction to that. There was a rumor on the net that went out immediately that was the direction the movie was going to go. And there were a lot of objections to that thought.
People don't think that we ever look at this stuff, and I once made the mistake of going and reading some of the stuff, and I cried so hard afterwards.
What I do know is that this wasn't the only place they considered increasing Arwen's presence in the story.
We had the broken sword at Rivendell. We had it obviously being reforged at this particular point in time. And then the question became, how does Aragorn actually get it? And we really just needed a courier to deliver the sword, and I know that we debated whether it should be Arwen a long time ago.
But I do think having Arwen at Helm's Deep would have had the potential to be interesting. Not only would it have kept her portrayal throughout the trilogy a little more consistent with her introduction, but it would have been pretty powerful to have her actually confront mortality for the first time in Helm's Deep and still choose it in the end. On the other hand, it could have just led to love triangle shenanigans with a jealous Éowyn. I don't know. But it still wouldn't have been the worst character assassination in the movie.
The ring will go to Gondor.
I swear, in the book, Faramir and Éowyn make sense together because resisting the ring and destroying the Witch King are the two most badass things any humans have ever done. But here, dude, she is way out of your league.